Hi and welcome to Rock Rules, and on this episode we are looking at the Dark Fantasy Choose Your Adventure style game. Skip the Dark Castle. This is a cooperative game for 1 to 4 players. You take the role of a wrongly imprisoned prisoner, and you are trying to escape. The castle you are trying to escape from is a 15 card deck made up at random from a nice little stack of cards. And you work together to solve the puzzles or traps that are on the card to get out of the dungeon. Once you defeat the final boss, you escape, you win the game. If one of you dies, you unfortunately all lose. So it's all or nothing. Yay! But yes, it can be a tough game and it does scale well. And as I said at the start of this is for 1 to 4 players, so it is soloable. But I will explain how the solo variant works when we get inside the box. Okay, so this is the contents of the box. First thing you want to do is you want to get your survivors, and you pick at least 2 survivors. So if you're playing this solo, you control any 2 of the characters you wish. If you're playing with other people, then obviously you choose 1 survivor each. Now I'm just going to take the abbot. So this is the artwork, and then these are the stats. So we've got wisdom, might, cunning, and then the little hash marks is how many times that symbol appears on the abbot character dice. Take the smith, might, so that would appear 4 times, wisdom 3, cunning 1. The tanner, wisdom, cunning, might. So on a 6-sided dice, so this is a tailor, so we should have 4 cunning, 3 wisdom, 1 might. So look at the dice symbol, we've got 1. So that's a dual symbol, and then a shield which is used in combat, so that counts as 2, so that's 3, 4. And we've got 2 wisdom, 3 wisdom, the single might. So each dice is unique for each character. So we'll take the cook and miller, just because they're 2 like that. So it's set up like this. There's the miller dice, cook dice. So obviously you get enough dice for every character, so they go back in the box. You then also get a bunch of 9 black dice, and these are called chapter dice. And you use these dice for the monsters in combat. I'll leave them off to one side. You get a gear deck, an item deck, full of lots of lovely stuff. So there is some gear that you can use inside of combat, and there's gear that you can't use inside of combat, but it'll tell you exactly what it does on the cards. Give them a shuffle, put them off to one side. You then get, these are the back, so you know they are different to everybody. These are the final boss cards. There is 3 in the base set. And then what you do is you shuffle these out, choose one at random, that goes into the middle, the rest go back into the box without looking. Now this forms the final room for your dungeon. You then get a nice size deck of these cards. You want to shuffle and take 15 off top. I've already done that one. And then put your Dark Castle start card on top. So that is the game set up, ready for a game. There is also a score pad you get, which is designed to keep track of your life. In a 2-player game, both characters get 18 life. 3 players it's 14 life, and in a 4-player game you get 12 life. I find it easier to use a couple of dice, but you can use a score pad if you wish. So these are the random dungeon cards that aren't included in there. I'll just show you some. Got some nice artwork. You then get a little bit of flavor text, which you read aloud to the rest of the party. You then get the this focus. You then get the text about what happens, and on this one, what happens if you fail or succeed. You also then get monster cards. So the monster cards are slightly different. So these symbols in the bottom corner are what you set the chapter dice to. So for this one, you have one wisdom, and this little figure symbol means that you roll 1 dice per character in play. So for this, it'd be 2 dice. Roll them there. So those dice will go on the card, and then that's how much damage it does if it's still alive at the end of each round of combat. All these to one side. So in this example, you have 3 wisdom. So then what you do is you roll your character dice, and every time you get a wisdom result, or you get a result that matches the dice that's on the card, you take one off. If there's any dice left on the creature after you've rolled, he gets to attack back, and he'll do 1 damage to both players. If the players had rolled a shield, the shield will defend them from the damage, and they take no damage. And then you keep going until combat keeps going until the all the dice are gone. The creature dies, and you draw a random loot card, unless the card says you draw more. In combat, you can choose to rest, but one character has got to remain in combat. So, for example, the miller could carry on fighting while the cook rests for 1 round. Every time you rest a round, you heal 1 hit point back. But as I said, it's important to remember that somebody has always got to be in combat, so you've got to have at least 1 person in combat. So these go off to one side, and we'll start the game. So first things first is you decide as a group who is going to open the door. Well, open the door, turn the card over, and then they read the card out loud. Any actions happen, they resolve. So for this one, it's the same card every time you start the game. Basically, you get a bit of loot per player. Now the characters have only got 2 hands, so they can only carry 2 things. There is some weapons or some gear which are 2-handed, so obviously you can only carry that, and that's it. So then you decide who's going to go. So we'll say the cook's going through, and the reason why you do this is because you read the flavor text through, and when it says you stand between him and freedom, you is referring to the person who's opened the door. So here we're primarily targeting the cook because they opened the door, and you progress through. And once you've got through all 15 cards, you get to the final boss. So in this case it's the dark one, and these are always nasty. So as you enter the dark one's presence, any items you are carrying, so the person that opens the door has to get rid of all their gear. Everyone else can keep it, just they have to get rid of it. So for this one it will be 4 dice, and then 2 random ones, because you've got 2 people playing. If there was 3 people playing, you'd be rolling 3 dice there. 4 people playing, you'd be rolling 4. And the bosses always do a lot of damage. And that's basically it. If you manage to get through and defeat the final boss, you win. As I said, it's a very fun, easy to play, easy to teach game that can be brutal. There's been a few games where I've not managed to get to the dungeon, but I still love it. And I can still happily teach this to anybody because it is nice and quick and easy to teach, but it is a nice, fun game. Enjoy.